Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today, who we're fortunate enough to have with us here on Monday as well. Tariq Ramadan is Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, the Professor of Contemporary Islamic Studies at the University of Oxford. He holds a MA in Philosophy and French Literature, as well as a PhD in Arabic and Islamic Studies from the University of Geneva. His books include The Awakening to Islam, as well as the Islam and the New Middle East and the Quest for Meaning. تفضل يا شيخ.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أيها الإخوة أيتها الأخوات أحييكم بتحية الإسلام تحية من عند الله مباركة طيبة السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله. It's an honor for me to be with you here, inshallah, alhamdulillah, in this mosque, and to come to this place where our brothers and sisters are celebrating in this place the very essence of Islam. And this is what I want to share with you as Muslims facing contemporary challenges and facing the world the way it is. One of the most important things that we have to understand, and as I have students here, in fact, I don't only have students on my left, I have students in the mosque, and the whole mosque is full of students. Because what we have to understand is our life as Muslims is very much based on the essence, on the principles of Islam. And we keep on repeating that the Messenger, ﷺ, peace be upon him, when he first was called by Allah, he was called with these first verses of Surah 96, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling him to come to him. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. The Prophet ﷺ, the messenger, responded to the call by saying, I don't know, I cannot read. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through Jibreel alayhi salam, repeated 3 times, اقرأ. And then when he said, اقرأ باسم ربك, read in the name and starting with your Lord, with your educator, Rabb, he was able to read. And this is the starting point of our religion, and we need to understand something. Read is not only to take the Quran and to take the revelation and to read with our lips, is to understand with our mind. To read is 2 things. First is to know how to read. Second is to understand what you read. So Islam is based on this. There is no Islam, no relationship to Allah if we don't understand the very essence, the principle of this. Read means be able to read and understand what you read. It means that what is going to come in your heart needs your mind. What is going to be the light of you in your heart as al-Iman needs for you to understand with your mind. And this is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called the Prophet ﷺ. And he made him change his perception of life, understanding something which is essential. The very essence of Islam is based on knowledge, and the first knowledge is La ilaha illallah, at-tawheed. There is no God but the one God that you are worshipping. And the very essence of this is also to understand, while you are reading what he sent, the very essence of what you have to do in this earth. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We have been created, but with only one objective, is to worship Him. Does it mean it's only by praying here in the mosque? No. All what is your life should be directed with this very essence, the very important message. Don't forget Him whatever you do. How are you going to do this? How are you going to be with Allah? And the second word, the second name of Al-Quran, بعد القرآن, is الذكر. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. We revealed الذكر. The dhikr means remembrance, Al-Quran. It was sent as the last message to the last messenger, ﷺ, for us to remember. And to remember what? That there is one God. This is the very essence of Islam. And any one of us should try to get this understanding. The problem that we have as Muslims today is we keep repeating what I said now and don't get the consequences of that. What does it mean there is only one God? What is the meaning of Tawheed in your life? Show me the difference between your life and the life of the people outside who are forgetting God. لا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم. Don't be like the people who are forgetting God. God made them forget themselves. Is there a difference? If you are true with La ilaha illallah, there should be a difference between you who are saying every day La ilaha illallah and people who are forgetting God. What is the difference? What is the difference? لا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله. There should be a difference in the way you dress, in the way you are, your color. No, that's not the difference. The difference is not by the fact that you say, I am a Muslim, or you have a stamp, or you have a title, I am a Muslim. There is another difference. There is an essential difference. And you who are students in this school, what is the difference between you students here in this school and other students in schools where they are not talking about God, when you are not remembering the very essence of our life? What should be the difference? The first is something which is very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling the Prophet ﷺ, and when He calls the Prophet ﷺ, He's telling him something which is essential. You know what? One day you are going to die. One day you are going to die. And you should remember this, that the very essence of your life is to know why you are living, as you know that you are going to die. This is the essential. This is why the Prophet ﷺ was saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahumma dhakkirna bil mawti kull sa'a. God made us remember the fact that we are going to die every day, every hour. Why? Because we are coming back to you. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We belong to Him, and to Him we go back. And because we know this, we know that our life could end now. Just while we were coming here in South Africa, a friend of us calling, they were traveling somewhere in Europe, and car accident. Half of the family is injured and one passed away. And who passed away? Not the mother, not the father, but one of the young boy, one of the young girl. What does it mean? It means it could happen every time. The very essence of La ilaha illallah means your life is fragile. Not anything could happen. You don't know when you are going out of this if you will find your father. You don't know if you are going to find your mother. You don't know if you are going to find your kid. You don't know if you are going to get your boy or your daughter. Life is fragile. And this is the essence. That when you say La ilaha illallah and you understand that you have to worship Him, that your death is not far. It doesn't mean that we take it as something which is bad. It's just to remember the meaning of our life. By knowing that you are going to die, you know why you are here. And this is why the first revelations of the Quran are talking about this, are talking about the fact that we are going to die. But that's not the only thing. By knowing that we are going to die, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you will come back to me, and I will ask you, what have you done with your life? What have you done with your time? What have you done with your mind? What have you done with your body? Everything is going to be questioned. إن السمع والبصر والفؤاد كل أولئك كان عنه مسؤولا. You are going to be asked about what you listen. You are going to be asked about what you look at. You are going to be asked about what you feel. Everything is going to be asked. And when one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ came to Islam and he wanted to know about Islam, he started by learning some verses of the Quran, verses that you all know because it's very simple, it's at the end. And when it's coming with Surah Al-Zilzal, when there is the earthquake, it's coming with anything that you are going to do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come and ask you about the details. ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى. You are going to be asked about everything. The small thing that you are doing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask you. So first, La ilaha illallah. Second, this life is ending. Don't forget God. Don't forget Allah. Come back to why you are here, because one day you are going to go back to Him. And by this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking, now He has some order and some command. What is the first one? The first one for all of us, while we are going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to remember everything in Islam is about teaching and learning. And remember, when you have in Surah Al-Rahman, Al-Rahman, علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. علم القرآن, He taught the Quran, He taught the book. And then He created human being. And then He taught him how to express himself or herself. At the end, our religion is getting knowledge. And getting knowledge, as I said, is not to come here and to be a sheikh, a professor, a doctor, and just having the title, is to implement what you know. The true alim in Islam is not the one who knows, but the one who knows and implements. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. So you come to an Islamic school, you are in an Islamic school. What is very important is just, can you imagine how many, we were visiting the country, how many boys and girls in this country cannot get access to knowledge, and you are here? You need to understand that this is your responsibility to learn and learn more, and not only to learn, but to understand the meaning of things. And this is for us as Muslims very important, not only to celebrate knowledge, because we always talk about al-ilm, 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 that's all good. Al-ilm is great, but ilm, which means knowledge without understanding, is nothing. It's like you read the Quran in Arabic, but you don't understand. This means that you read a book without understanding the meaning of the book. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't send the book for you to read without understanding, but to understand and to implement. The book is to be understood. So any one of you who is reading Al-Quran and coming back to Al-Ilm should question himself or herself, what do I know and how do I implement what I know? Al-Alim is not a quantity of knowledge. It is small knowledge, implementation of knowledge. And if you are consistent, this is what the companion of the Prophet ﷺ came to say, if I pray, implement the 5 pillars, am I going to paradise? He said, yes, do it, and you go to paradise. But big knowledge without implementing, this is the way straight to your failure in this life. So I would say here that as Muslims, we really have to come with this understanding of our religion. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us something, which is in fact the very meaning of our reality. We come in South Africa and we see, look at this mosque. You have all the colors here. Black, white, Arabs, Indian, all the colors in this mosque. And you know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in Surah Al-Hujurat? No one of you is better than the other by the color or by the blood or by the money. All this is nothing. Even by the title. Who told you that I'm better than you here? I might be worse than all of you. It's not in your position, your social position. It's not in your money. It's not in the way you look. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't look at your body. He doesn't look even at your appearance and your look. He looks at your heart. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The best among you, it depends on what he or she has in his heart. Who can assess this? Only Allah. Only Allah knows this. And you. And you. You can cheat at me, not at yourself. You can cheat at yourself. But not long. Not for a long time. One day you look at your own self in the mirror of your life and you know who you are. And this is where you come back to Allah, Anta Rahman wa Anta Rahim. Because you know that He's the most merciful. You want His forgiveness. But at the end, the very essence of our life as Muslims is based on this knowledge, to try our best. First, to educate ourselves with this knowledge, and then to do what we have to do, which is the best among us, is atqakum, God conscious, piety, to be with Allah. How can we see this? How can I see the difference? You know what we said? What is the difference between the people who are with God, Allah, and the people who are forgetting? How do we know that? It comes from many very small things. The first is something which is the starting point of Islam. You know, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called the messenger, alayhi salam, he called him. The first thing that he did, he went back to Khadija, his wife. And the way he was with her is expressing the way he was with God. You know what? If you want to see how someone is with God, look at the way he is with his parents, the way he is with his wife or her husband, and the way he or she is with the children. Don't go far about, being in the mosque and praying and being, no. Come back to the intimate life. And you will see the quality of your relationship with God. Tell me how you talk to your father or your mother, I will know the way you are with God. Tell me how you deal with your neighbor, I will know how you are with God. Tell me how you are with your kids, your children, I will know how you are with God. Tell me the way you are with your wife, when no one of us is with you at home, and I will know if you are with God or not. Because the Prophet ﷺ was not only nice with his wives, but he was listening, he was sharing, no violence. He cannot just come in a mosque and pray and beat his wife at home. He was not like this. And you say and repeat, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. He's the best example, but you don't follow him in all the details. The way he was always talking about his mother, the way he was talking about the people who educated him, the way he was praying. This is Islam. Islam is in the details, how you are with the people who are close to you from the public. The way you are at home. Are you someone who is in all the situation? You remember, there is no way to Allah if you are not close to your parents, your father and your mother. That you know the hadith that is telling you that the paradise is under the feet of your mothers, and that you have also to remember what the Prophet ﷺ said, أَنْتَ وَمَالُكَ لِأَبِيكَ, you belong to your father. Be careful. So tell me, during the last months, just to take a month, how many times were you isolated with Allah and you prayed Allah to protect your father, your mother, your children, your brothers and your sisters? Not in the way you do it, as automatic cars, but as true believer. How much time are you allocating to pray for the people you love? These are the details, but this is the way you are with Allah. If you forget the people you love, it means that you are forgetting Allah. And you forget Allah, you are going to forget yourself. And this life is eating you. We are not in any way following the industrialized society where the eldest people are put in places where people are looking after them and we don't care. Because we know that the only way to be close to God is to be close to our parents. We are not, and we should never forget our children in the way we are educating. Some of you are putting their children in an Islamic school, and they wait for the Islamic school to educate them. Some problems that we have with Islamic schools have nothing to do with the school. It has to do with the parents. The parents are not there. So, okay, do the job. I pay you to do the job. As if education is about paying. Paying attention, yes. Paying money is not going to do the job. And this is also something which is important in our education. This is why it's essential. Do you know what I'm talking about here? Something which is the very meaning of Islam. This is the spiritual dimension of Islam. This is a ruhaniyya, rabbaniyya, kunu rabbaniyin. Means you have to be close to Allah in the way you look after the people you love. The quality of love, it's important, not only to say, I love you. And by the way, do you say, I love you to the people you love? As the Prophet ﷺ advised the companion to say, he heard the companion saying, I love him. Go and tell him you love him. We are a community of judges, not a community of loving brothers and sisters. I don't ask you to judge me. I'm asking you to help me to be better. Your judgment is making me worse sometimes because it isolates me. But if you help me with your love, it's going to give me some strength. So this is our religion. This is where Islam is important. And for our young brothers here and young sisters, it's very important for you to get it right when you have this opportunity to get this knowledge in a school. This is where you have to get the knowledge and to become someone. You know why? Because this is something which is essential for us. Knowledge is power, and power is independence. And المسلم القوي أفضل عند الله من المسلم الضعيف. It's better for Allah to be a qawi, not with your money, not with your weapon, with one weapon, the weapon of knowledge. And if you want to face the people who are attacking Islam, prepare yourself. وَأَعِدُّ لَهُمْ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ. You have to prepare yourself with the power needed. And you know what is the best power? Knowledge. To express yourself. What I would like to see out of these schools here in the world is Muslims being equipped. They know their religion, they know how to speak, and they are ready to talk. They are confident with their principle. And also our brothers and sisters who didn't go through an Islamic school who are now living in South Africa should get this confidence. So this is where knowledge is important for us. But I would add something which is important with this spiritual dimension. We should be agents in this society of the true meaning of family and loving in our family. Loving God, serving our wives, serving our husbands, serving and looking after our children, and being very, very aware that if you destroy the family, if you destroy the relationship within the family, you are destroying everything. Don't go outside and be people of business and money and da'wah outside and you don't look after your family. Be careful with this. It's good to talk about Islam outside. It's better to educate about Islam within your family, because this is what the Prophet ﷺ did. This is why you see the Prophet ﷺ. He was able to change the world, and you come back to his children and you see the quality of this education. And this is sometimes a problem because we have some du'at, they are very, very open, and then you look back at their kids and their children. There is a problem, and we are all facing this challenge. Now, this is a very important point. Now we also have to add something as Muslims. And you are in South Africa. This is your country. Now you have to stop asking yourself, is it possible to be South African and Muslim? You are South African Muslims. Your Islam is one with the principles that you know, and your culture is South African Muslims. You don't have to become like the Arabs or to become like the Indians or to become like the Europeans. Be South African. with confidence. This is your society. There is nothing wrong. The universality of Islam is accepting the diversity of cultures in the name of our common principles. So we take this. We don't have a problem with this. Now, if we don't want to be like the people who are forgetting God in this society, we should be the added value in this society. So you are South African citizens. Boys in these schools, you here in this mosque, alhamdulillah, what is the added value? What do you bring to this society? Are you not sometimes having a victim mentality that the people don't like Islam, that the people are rejecting you? Stop with this. Stop with the victim mentality. The Prophet ﷺ was not this. He understood the verse of the Quran. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. Death and life is to test you. And then أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Do you think it's enough to say, I believe you are not going to be tested? Life is a test. And your situation here is a test. What are you doing with this test? Just to sit down and say, people don't like Islam, and the people, they are rejecting us. And then we sit down and we blame the world. No. The verse of the Quran is clear. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. It's clear. You are not going to be changed and helped by Allah if you don't start with yourself. إِصْلَحْ نَفْسَكَ. You have to start with yourself. How do we do this? By being in this society Muslims with an added value. What is the added value? The added value where it's important first is what I said. Value in this society, knowledge, education, and spiritual freedom. Come with meanings. Let the people ask. You know, for example, some of you are all dressed in a way now and say, you know what, the world is all about freedom, the pop culture is about freedom, the world culture is about freedom, the hip-hop is about freedom, and you look at the people, they're all the same. It's very strange to see all the people saying this is freedom, and they do all the same. It's as if in their freedom, there is just standardization of everything. That's not freedom. That's just to be a sheep following all the sheep. And a parrot following what the people are saying. This is not freedom. The true freedom is coming from your heart and coming from your mind. Why are you doing what you are doing? Are you doing this because you like it, because it's you, or do you do as the people are doing? This is why there is a saying in English which is very important. Show me your friends, I will tell you who you are. Because if you take the friends outside that are doing all what is done in this society, this is, you follow them. Tell me who you follow. And we'll see what kind of a human being you are. So the true freedom is about deciding for ourselves, based on knowledge and based on understanding. This is the first. But now the added value in this society is what? Can't you see at the beginning of the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always talking about the poor people? Why Allah, when He calls the people, and He called the Prophet ﷺ, He called the Prophet ﷺ, and He talked about the poor people. Why? Because in fact, in our society, when we speak about money, when we speak about power, we always look at the people who have money and power. And if you are with God, you look at the poor. This is why you fast. This is why you give zakat. You look at the poor. The added value in South Africa is for you Muslims to care about the poor people, to care about social justice. And you in your school, it's not enough to be the first at school. Anyone who comes in his school and thinks, as a woman and as a boy, I'm the best because I'm the first, it's close to be the last. Why? Because in spiritual terms, if you are the first, you look after the last one. You look at the last one, the poor people in this society. And when I went in this project to see in townships how there is free education, this is it. This is the added value of Muslims in South Africa. كَلَّا بَلْ لَا تُكْرِمُونَ الْيَتِيمِ. This is it. You don't give dignity. لَا تَكْرِمُونَ الْكَرَمَ. This is dignity. You don't. And if you don't, you are lost. You can say with your lips, I believe, your heart is showing that you like money and power. And this is why we need the Muslims. South Africa needs Muslims caring about the poor. in this country and outside, because you are lucky compared to other African countries. So don't come to me to say, you know what, we are good Muslims. Every Friday I go to school. Between 2 Fridays, what do you do with your money? How do you care with people? Are you giving education to people who don't have money? Are you doing this? Is this the added value of Muslims? It's not enough to have the passport. The added value is not the way you dress, it's the way you behave. This is the added value. So this is spirituality. And if you care about the poor, we can see that your heart is open. All these people who are coming to you and telling you, you know what, we are spiritual, we pray all the night, and they are selfish during the day, this is not spirituality. This is the deep distortion of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ, around his mosque, poor people. Just for the people to remember. You come to pray, remember there are poor people outside. These people are yours. You know why? Because these were the people who helped the Prophet ﷺ to carry out his mission. This is why he was supported by the poor. And the rich were saying, look at the people around you, all poor people. And with this poor, he changed the world. Not with the powerful. And this is what happened with Abasa wa Tawalla. Abasa, he was talking to the rich. A poor guy, old guy came to him. He forgot him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, no, that's not the way. Come back to the poor. Come back to the old. Come back to the essence. Come back to the light. Don't look at power and money. Second thing that you need in this country. You know, I was supporting this country in the 70s and the 80s against apartheid. And as I keep on repeating, apartheid is over in South Africa, but racism is not. And Muslims are still today having racist behavior. They can sit in a mosque and say, no racism in Islam, but Muslims are promoting racism. An added value of Muslims in South Africa struggle against all kinds of racism. This is what we need from you. This is the way you are going to be Muslims. To show to the people, you will never, never forget that the first to call the people to pray was Bilal, and he was black. And some Indians, some black, some white, Muslims are still carrying on prejudices. And they say with their mouth what is not in their heart. Exactly that we have it in the Quran, hypocrites. Hypocrites. And we have a great deal of hypocrisy in our community. An added value in this society is also to care about our sisters. I'm sorry to tell you, the future of this country relies also on your sisters. In the mosque as well as outside. At home, the way you talk to your daughters, the way you talk to your wife, the way you talk to the woman, the way they have equal rights in this society. If you want an added value in this society, look at the way the Prophet ﷺ was dealing with women, giving them rights, listening to them. Listening to Salama, who he was alone, he was lost. He came back home and she told him, this is what you have to do. Not only he listened, but he implemented what was her advice. We don't do this as Muslims. It's as if we are confusing all what Islam is about. So the way we are with the poor, the way we are about racism, the way we are with our wife and our women within the community. Let South Africa listen and see from Muslims that we care about our principles, that we are an added values of ethical behavior. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمِ الْأَخْلَاقِ I was sent to beautify, to complete the good behavior, not just to come with a message that you repeat and don't implement. We are the champion of reciting without implementing. We say iqra, but we don't implement what we read and what we recite. I would like this power of our religion, this power of our principles to be understood with our heart. And this is the true spirituality. Spirituality is not only to pray during the night. Spirituality, to understand this, is the way you talk to the poor, is the way you talk to your wife, is the way you talk to your parents, is the way you serve the people. The best among you is the best for humanity. This is what the Prophet ﷺ said. And this is who we should be here. And I would like these young brothers, these young boys in our schools to understand this. The best Islamic school is not a school for Muslims. The best Islamic school is a school where the Islamic principles are understood and promoted for all. We are here to serve humanity. So instead of coming in the mosque and being happy because you are here now, it's a great responsibility to go back outside, at home, in your society, and to do the job. Ask yourself a simple question. Every one of you in this mosque today, ask yourself, what is your added value in your daily life? What are you bringing to people? In which way people can look at you and say, that's it, I love that. What is your added value? If you don't have, you better start now. And if you have, be humble enough to improve it and to add. This is the way the Prophet ﷺ was. Insha'Allah. May Allah help us. May Allah help you. May Allah bless all of you, insha'Allah, and bestow upon us His mercy and His forgiveness. But don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Ha huna al-taqwa." He was saying, your piety is inside. There is only one who knows, him and you. You know. So don't try to pretend. Don't be good Muslims in the mosque and lost Muslims in the street. Be Muslims in the mosque and active Muslims in the street, inshallah. Wallahu a'lam wa a'la wa ahkam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shukran to Professor Tariq Ramadan. Apart from being the professor of Contemporary Islamic Studies at the University of Oxford, in the Oriental Institute in St. Anthony's College, Professor Tariq Ramadan also teaches at the Oxford University of Theology. He is visiting professor at the Faculty of Islamic Studies in Qatar and the University of Malaysia Perlis, Senior Research Fellow at Toshiba University, Kyoto, Japan, and the Director of the Research Center of Islamic Legislation and Ethics in Doha, Qatar. In Cairo, Egypt, he received one-on-one intensive training in classic Islamic scholarship from Al-Azhar University scholars, ijazat in 7 disciplines. Through his writings and lectures, Professor Tariq has contributed to the debate on the issues of Muslims in the West and Islamic revival in the Muslim world. He is active at academic and grassroots levels of lecturing extensively throughout the world on theology, ethics, social justice, ecology and interfaith, as well as intercultural dialogue. He is president of the European think tank, European Muslim Network in Brussels. We say shukran to Professor Tariq Ramadan for those inspiring and insightful words. May we all take heed of his message, inshallah. We also ask Allah to grant him success in all his future endeavors, inshallah, and that he grows from strength to strength.